everything's on the line. Let's see how it turns out. In the upper left, perhaps making a comeback here. He is
CJ&2's Trust.
And his opponent in the bottom right.
Samsung Galaxy Khan Stork.
It's a pretty brainy play today, although it hasn't worked out as well as I think he would have hoped so far. He's on his last set of legs here.
Yeah, both of them are really, and I think the thing is they both actually played quite well in this series so far, and I think Stork played quite well in a series that he lost. Trust wasn't bad, just kind of outclassed by Sue, so this is just a really nice group. I actually, coming into today, I was thinking that today would be the best day of the week. Which I wasn't thinking at the beginning of the week, but after the games that we saw in the other 2 days, I'm like, you know what, I think today is actually going to be better games overall, and I think it has been.
We have 4 very different players here with 4 very different backgrounds. And it's cool because the Trust, the player who is the rookie of the group, I mean, it's still interesting to see what exactly he has planned here. And it's always cool to see if there's, let's say, a new Protoss in one of these groups that starts to trump everybody else. We've seen it happen before, Artosis, with these new Protosses.
Absolutely. Zest came out of nowhere, kind of. Well, I mean, he was doing well in Pro League.
Well, even somebody like Deer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's another example. We've had a lot of new good Protoss players. We didn't see it so much with Terminator or Hurricane, but...
No, certainly not.
I think Trust is playing better than they are today.
For sure he has already. They made some really big mistakes in their days of play, but overall Trust is like just really impressed, so we'll see if he can continue to do so. Nothing out of the ordinary here really for either player, looks like. No, everything is on the level, Tasteless.
On the level indeed, Artosis.
Yeah, no shenanigans going on.
No tomfoolery.
Yeah. No proxy Stargates.
I would be really disappointed actually if Trust did proxy Stargate.
Yeah, it's, I wonder if he's like, could he go for that same expand as before? Like, I don't look at Stork and think of him as a Stargate guy, and if yeah, he's going for it. He's going for the same build, but he does actually go Stargate this time. He scouted it. It looks similar to what he saw before, and even though I really do think Stork is more of a Robo and Blink guy, or maybe even DT, going for this Stargate, if he can really well execute. Wow, that's a weird way to say that. If he can execute an Oracle 3-gate very well, against this build, an Oracle 3-gate executed perfectly kills the Nexus every time.
Well, let's see what he actually does here. He does have his one probe, Stork does, over here in the top center. Here is that Nexus. I am a little bit nervous for Truster. I would not be doing this build twice in a row.
Oh, he's getting Phoenix. Well, yeah, I mean, there's definitely some risk to it, but it seems like it's a build that he's very comfortable with and very good with. Like, he knew how to do tech switches and whatnot. The build seemed pretty tight before as well, so I think he's just kind of trusting in himself and saying, you know, I feel good with this build. I think I can beat anyone with this with a little bit of luck and playing my best. And you got to respect that to some extent, for sure.
We have the Phoenixes pulling here for Stork.
And these can do really well also. He's going to be taking a Nexus quite quickly, and the Phoenixes should be able to keep probes out of the natural until, if he makes a Nexus like right now, until about the time the Nexus finishes for Stork.
So they're going to graze by each other here. Oop, just a millisecond. That was on the mini-map. And I think you make a great point, Artosis. The fact that the probes probably can't mine from that other Nexus for the time being, since the Phoenixes will just pick him up and kill him off.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be okay.
Right now what he needs to do is try to force a Nexus cannon or something like that. Pick off anything he can, obviously. Not a lot of energy quite yet to be able to really massively kill probes. Yeah, like, he's got to basically spread Trust a bit too thin. And Trust is actually going to go into Twilight Tech here. Kind of cool.
I believe we have only 2 probes mining from Trust expansion.
And to be honest, I don't think those should even be there. It's just like easy to kill.
Well, now he's only got 2. Yeah, this is the problem, is that the Phoenixes can just dive in there.
Yeah.
And take out probes here and there. And you already see Stork starting to get a bit of a worker lead here.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised he didn't dart directly into the main base.
Oh,
because,
man.
like, the second he saw those units down there, I think you have to go directly to the main to force an Nexus Cannon immediately. Like, this is... I feel like that's how you have to play Phoenixes against such a fast expand, is like force Nexus Cannons, fly around, kill as many probes as possible, and suddenly you have your expand up and your probe count is very even.
Nice.
Oh, nice move indeed.
Yeah, getting these 2 sentries here.
No more energy to pick that one up, though.
And he can regroup now.
Mm-hmm.
This is some really smart player, and look at that. He puts the 1 injured Phoenix down there in the center left. He says, it's not worth it for me to fly around with 1 injured Phoenix in this group in case it gets hit by a Nexus Cannon from the side or a Stalker blinking under it. And this is smart because if you get enough Phoenixes in PvP and then you both transition into mid-game, you could just use those Phoenixes when the first battle starts up and just pick everything you can up.
Yeah.
You win that battle on the ground, and by the time that stuff's dropped, you win again.
Totally. And it stops War Prism harassment. Look at this. All game long you can kill things off like this.
Yeah.
It's really hard to kill Phoenixes off. A good Phoenix user just generally won't lose any Phoenixes in this situation, especially if you don't have Blink.
Well, they're coming up now.
By the way, as of that last pass, Stork took the probe lead.
Yeah, 1 probe ahead.
And that's like a big moment, too, yeah.
Trust is going to have to just stay back and be defensive here. Now, 2 more probe pickups are happening. This now puts Stork in a 4 probe lead.
Uses feedback. He's making some Archons and stuff. And I mean, this is a fine way to shut that down, but the game plan after this point for Trust is actually very dicey. Like, what is the game plan? These Phoenixes aren't dead. They aren't going anywhere. I guess you take a 3rd Nexus, and what do you do from here?
Well, the problem for Trust is he's in timeout on the map.
Yeah.
He doesn't get to leave his base, or if he does, he loses all of his probes. Where Stork can continue to actually check his opponent. Oh my God, that was so good. He can continue to check his opponent and see what he's doing, and then respond accordingly.
Well, really good position right now. Look at this. He is all over the place with Phoenixes. Coming right back in. More probes killed. That Archon way too slow, way too low range to do anything about it. Might be able to force another Nexus Cannon even.
Well, again, Stork just getting bigger and scarier. Almost 20 supply ahead now of his opponent. Gateway's finishing up. And we could see if feedbacks could happen over here. Oh, my God. Oh my God. That is so bad. I think Trust is so behind now. This is so bad.
The army supply is grossly
and he's going to get the mothership
core. Oh, my God. Right before it has 90 energy. Down it'll go. It'll kill another High Templar.
Okay, well, when you're
13 probes, 2 sentries, mothership core, 4 High Templars.
Unbelievable.
Stork for 1 Phoenix.
So ahead.
God.
This is like that scene in Looper where the guy's body parts started to disappear. That's like Stork's or Trust's base right now. He just comes back and the Templars are gone. He's like, no.
This is
comes
like
back and the probes are gone. Rage.
I think it's more like the scene in the beginning of Indiana Jones 4 where the bomb goes off.
That part where I almost walked out of the theater?
The refrigerator flies across the field, but when you open it up, Trust is just a pile of goo that oozes out of it.
Yeah, because that's what would happen in a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
That was the worst thing that ever happened. Oh, my God. He gets another Templar. Now, keep in mind, even though he's getting some feedback off of these Phoenixes, Templars are also not banking any energy.
He's infinity ahead right now, Stark.
Yeah.
That's the only way to measure it. You can't measure it with numbers.
Trying to measure it with numbers, it's like trying to solve pi.
You could take all the greatest math brains of all time and they couldn't solve how far ahead Stork is in such a short time with so few units. It just doesn't make sense. They're like, well, I don't know. This has to do with imaginary numbers. Someone divided by -1 or something like that.
They're trying to solve it, and they're like, I think my calculator's at the wrong setting. I don't know how I'm getting these numbers here. The 3rd is done, but again, Trust is spread so thin. I mean, you could see they're even in probes, but the number of probes that have been killed here for Trust is so bad that it...
Yeah. Look at these supplies right now. Trust had a much faster Nexus, just putting that out there.
30 supply lead. The scouting done by Stork here even.
Stork is just getting everything he needs.
I feel like Trust is not even entirely sure what to do, so he's just walking across the map now.
He may as well attack, right?
Yeah.
Sitting there isn't going to get him further ahead. Sitting there being pummeled by Phoenixes. Yeah, I mean, as soon as this engagement happens, he's going to have to tap out. The army of Stork is just so strong.
Well, this game was really well played by Stork. It wasn't really too much that was fancy. He just got the Phoenixes. I don't feel like Trust really responded as well as he could have.
Well, the fact that he was trying to mine from his natural shows that he doesn't understand what a good player can do with Phoenixes in that situation. You can't actually cover both bases, and Stork really, really abused that. Really abused it. Like, if you're coming in to kill those sentries, but they're with the Stalkers at the main nexus, then you put down the Mothership Core cannon, right? And, like, maybe you save some stuff, but instead he just lost stuff everywhere. He just hemorrhaged units.
Look at Stork poking in there, see if he can't just take out that Mothership Core. Okay, now he's going to group up here. And he's supposed to make sure there's nothing he can be countered with. Stork is nearly maxed out. And after this engagement, both players are basically forced into going Zealot Archon for a little bit. That's the easiest thing to remake.
For sure.
But I think that just from here...
Giant Zealot Warpins during battle and then Archons afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. Stork continuing to edge his way forward here.
Yeah, funnily enough, Trust is actually caught up in army supply. You know, he has kept his probe count kind of up, and he's done a good job of his macro up to this point. So we'll see. If he takes, like, a brilliant engagement, he may be able to do something. But the problem here is that he has 1 Colossi at the moment and no Immortals to show for it. So he's, like, on Charge Lot Archon, which is pretty soft against a lot of Colossi. You really need Immortals in there to try to pack that extra punch.
The Phoenixes are going to try to draw some of this army out of position. Stork, notice how careful he's being, by the way. This is why this guy has been on televised StarCraft. How long has he been on? For like 10 years? Yeah, 10 years now. Yeah. He's been...
That's a lot older than a lot of 8- and 9-year-olds.
I mean, he's just so cautious here. He's just... okay, I'll just take... Oh, well, until he did that, maybe look bad. But for most of this game, he's been very cautious.
Well, Stork can't bother himself to try too much from here. This is, it's funny though, Trust actually has more army supply. Oh god, and that was actually not that good by Stork.
And
he has to be really careful about that.
Nexus cannon here.
And look at this, his Zealots actually get shredded. Stork really shouldn't have run up there. He's taken a game that he was in a giant lead in.
Well, let's see,
and this, he might actually get broken here.
This is, I gotta say, a bit surprising considering he was taking the 4th too. And there was no way. This is the defender's advantage stuff, too, we were talking about.
Yeah.
It's much easier to hold. I can't believe Stork just did this.
He could have attack moved for like 4 minutes before there and won the game because he had a way better unit comp. But what happened was he had all of his Zealots completely clumped in the smallest choke he could find. And now Trust had gotten 3 Colossi. So his Colossi shots were 1,000 times better than Stork's.
There was also a Nexus there that also allowed, he also was able to get in the way of some of that army.
For sure.
There were so many things that were
and
wrong
it adds
with
a lot
attack.
of damage as well.
Well, Stork's backing up now. He's not lost yet, but I'm really surprised to see him make a blunder like that. As now Trust has the initiative, and Trust is seizing this moment and moving out. Yeah. This may not be so much a game that Trust won as that Stork lost, but a win is still a win here, and that would put him in the next match here against DRG.
Yeah, I mean, Trust has a chance to win at this point, but I'm not saying Stork's dead at all. He has 1 more Colossus, he has the same number of Archons, same number of Zealots, so the armies are very similar, but he has +3 attack against +2, and that does make a big difference with this many Archons and Colossi.
Okay, we have the engagement happening now. The Zealot's spilling out here.
Okay, this is going a lot better for Stork than it was last time. Does he actually have enough to break through here?
Notice 1 Colossus in the upper left here for Trust, not attacking at anything. But he changes that very quickly as he starts to come forward here. And Stork's base is not going to be around for much longer. In fact, it's 116 supply to 97 now with Stork in the deficit.
You know, Stork is going to know that he really threw this game. This has to be really frustrating because he's actually in excellent shape. He crushed all game long.
Oh my god, I can't believe this game turned into...
You know when I said he couldn't be bothered to try anymore? Well, he should have been.
Yeah.
And it's not that he didn't try, he just got so sloppy.
Trust cautiously pushing in here. They're on even bases right now. A time warp there on those Colossi. That's usually the game-killing move.
Yeah.
When the Colossi can't, well, he's not chasing him down there, but
the warp-ins are like the round comes in for Trust after he kills around a Stork, and this is actually just it.
That's it, man. Trust is going to go in against DRG. Stork is the first player eliminated here.
Wow.
10 years of experience, not enough in that game. Stork has been taken out despite playing so well in that game.
You know what I mean? So godly.
You can get a lead an entire game, but you better keep it or you're going to lose.
You can't actually take a worse engagement than what he did at third base. First off, he used his charge for Zealots to go into the tiniest little choked up area there is, and you can see he's like really upset with himself here. But that is the only person he can be upset at is himself. He is the one that threw this game.
Very well said, Artosis.
And that is a pro. He knows how to play PvP much better than that.
We haven't seen a game bungled like that in a while, and we were talking about even some of the games we saw Trust play earlier where he didn't even make the second pylon in time for the proxy building.
Yeah.
I mean, he had complete control from start to almost finish that game until he took an engagement that was not favorable. He didn't even have to attack there.
No,
there was
it was the only place he should have attacked.
He had 4 bases to 3, and the arrow was way too.
His
the area was way
better.
too narrow. Excuse me, to get in there. Well, that's competition. That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Stork is out, and this means Trust is going to go on against DRG after the short break.